Hey guys, in this video I'll be going over the 6.0 Mage changes in Warlords of Draenor regarding the patch notes that came out about 2 days ago. And I originally wasn't going to make this video yet because the game is still in alpha. It's still in its beginning stages of going public. So the things in the patch notes are bound to change, they're not final. So I wanted to wait a bit until beta came out, so the game could solidify a little bit more. I could start making content for you guys and stuff like that. But it seems like a lot of you guys, at least like 99% of you guys, are so worried that fire is going to be not viable anymore. If you read the patch notes, you'll see that fire is losing out on a lot of its burst mechanics and stuff like that, which is a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. But I just want to tell you guys that you shouldn't worry, because it's not just mages that are getting nerfed and losing a lot of their main abilities. It's a bunch of classes. So first things first, I'm going to go over some of the most crucial changes that I believe will impact my playstyle the most, and then I'll go over my thoughts and opinions on what I think about them. So the first one is mage armors are passive and spec oriented. So for example, fire mages are just going to have molten armor passively, so it's not going to be a buff you have to apply, it's just going to be a part of your spec. Same thing goes for frost mages, they're just going to have frost armor, it's not going to be a buff, they just have it. And arcane mages are just going to have mage armor. Next up is huge combustion replaces deep freeze for fire mages. So pretty much fire mages don't get deep freeze anymore. Also, next is shatter is now only available to frost mages, which means that fire mages won't be able to shatter targets for guaranteed crits. Also, Dragon's Breath now replaces Cone of Cold, which means fire mages don't get Cone of Cold. Next, you can talent into the spec Blast Wave, which lets you slow enemies from range, but you actually lose out on Frost Nova then. Also, Blizzard is now only available to frost mages, which means it'll be hard to get rogues out of stealth from range, but fire mages get Flame Strike, which other mage specs are not going to be able to get. And I have a feeling they might make Flame Strike instant because we're losing out on Blizzard, but that's just a guess. Next is mirror image is now a level 90 talent, but their damage is going to be coming from 50% of the mage's spell power up from 5%, which is a huge damage buff. I'll probably actually start using this in coordination with my damage for burst. Next is Evanesce. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it. And this ability actually replaces Ice Block, and it's a talent at level 15. It avoids all attacks against you for 3 seconds with a 45-second cooldown. I find this ability pretty interesting. Although it replaces Ice Block, if you rotate it with your Dragon's Breath and your shields, I think it could be really good. And also Cold Snap resets the cooldown on this as well. Cold Snap will also reset the cooldown on Dragon's Breath, which is huge, so you can get like double breaths on the DPS and then Cold Snap and blink over and then breath the healer into sheeps or something. So for now, I feel like those are the biggest crucial changes that will impact me, like I said before. So I know a lot of you guys are very disappointed that they're taking out deep freeze and shatters for fire mages, because that's where our main source of damage comes from, and that's where we score our kills and win games. But I'm honestly not too worried about it. This is just deja vu to me, honestly, because I went through this exact same thing last expansion. I remember when I was playing Cataclysm, I heard MOP was coming out. I read the 5.0 notes, and they said they were going to be nerfing combustion completely. Like literally, back in the days, if you didn't play Cataclysm, how combustion would work is you would get all your dots on the target, get a big ignite from pyroblast crits, and then combustion, and then you could also spread the combustion dot with your impact and actually wipe out the whole enemy team just with combustion. Combustion was pretty much what deep is for us now, except much better, and it was decently bursty, but it was more like consistent pressure for 10 seconds straight. And when this was nerfed, all the fire mages were like so afraid that fire was gonna die and that no one would play fire anymore, even though there weren't that many fire mages back then. And they didn't think about how Blizzard was compensating for it and giving us deep freeze instead. So in a way, they were making fire mages weaker because they nerfed combustion, but at the same time, they didn't think of the other aspects of it. Of course, since they're going to be nerfing our deep freeze and taking away our shatters for next expansion, that means our playstyle is definitely going to change. Don't get me wrong, that's just a fact. We're not going to be playing the same way we do now, but you shouldn't expect to. It's a new expansion, things are going to change. But it's funny how human beings work, because when you read the patch notes, I feel like everyone just applies the changes to now. Like they imagine how it would be if we lost Deep Freeze and Shatters right now. Of course it'd be terrible, because like I said, that's where everything happens for fire mages. But you have to remember that this is for next expansion. It's not like fire mages are the only ones losing crucial abilities. If you actually took time to read the patch notes, you would notice that classes like druids, they lose symbiosis. Also rogues lose shadow blades, and hunters lose scatter trap. Almost every class is losing something very crucial to their class. So it's not just us. So you have to remember that the whole PvP system and the whole, ability system is getting pretty revamped. Although a lot of our abilities are staying the same, there's just so much is going to change that it's way too hard to judge now. I'm honestly excited for it. Even if fire is weak, which I don't think it'll be that weak, I think it'll still be like 2200 viable. But even if it is weak, I'm still excited for it, because if you've been watching my channel for quite some time now, you would know that I like taking on challenges most of the time. Not always, but most of the time I like taking on challenges, because in the end I feel like once you conquer them, you come out more rewarded, and you actually embrace the challenge more than you ever did. I don't know, maybe some of you guys have experienced that before. I'm sure some of you have. And although, like for example, when Mists came out, I was so confused. Like I was so used to like shattering with improved cone of cold roots and spreading combust with impact and stuff like that, that when Deep Freeze came out, I didn't even know how to utilize it at best. Like I would Deep Freeze and Scorch Inferno Blast to shatter it instead of waiting to get a hot streak first. And it took me like 3 months to actually get it down and play correctly. And that's the same thing with Warlords. It's probably going to happen where I'm just going to be playing like a retard for a few months, and then eventually I'll master it after maybe half a year. And I'm excited for change. I like change. I know a lot of people hate change, especially when it works against them, but you guys have to just embrace it. It's just a part of the game. And no matter what, no matter how bad fire gets, you don't have to worry, because I'll always be here making fire mage videos and also making fire mage guides. And like I said, even though fire is weak, say it's only able to get 2200, like I'm 2500 now, but if it's only able to get 2200, I'll still play it. It doesn't matter. And I'll try to share all my knowledge with you guys. So yeah, I just want you guys to know that this channel will always be a fire mage channel as long as I'm doing WoW content. So hopefully this video helped you get a better understanding of what I think about the patch note changes. You guys were asking me about my opinions, and also I really wanted to cover this because it seemed like a lot of you guys were complaining and saying fire is gonna die in Warlords, like especially in my YouTube comments and also on Facebook. So I just felt like this was needed, like you guys needed me to talk about it a little bit. Anyways, once Warlords of Draenor beta comes out, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos and a lot of mage coverage for you guys, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, keep burning shit, even in the next expansion.